Hello, I'm here in Hampton, Maine, and this is one of the oldest cemeteries in the area. It dates way back to the early 1800s, and it's actually one of my favorite cemeteries to visit. It really makes me think about the nature of life and how fleeting it is. So let's take a stroll through it and see what we see. This is the final resting place of two British soldiers who actually died right here in Hampden, Maine in the War of 1812 at the Battle of Hampden. So you have Private Peter Bracewell of the Infantry Division and Seaman Michael Kavanagh, who was in the British Navy at the time. They actually were buried elsewhere and then they were brought back here. So as we walk through, we see some of these characteristic of the late 1700s, early 1800s graves. You have the shoulders, and you look at the front here, some beautiful artwork on it. It says, "In memory of Mr. Benjamin Wheeler Jr. of Hampton, who died October 14th, 1807 in the 18th year of his age." This is Robin Wheeler. There's people of all ages buried here, and actually there's a lot of missing stones because the cemetery was kind of neglected for a really long time. Now the town of Hampden makes it part of their regular maintenance, so they would have a sexton that comes here and works on it to keep it up the best that they can. You still have a few old graves, but a lot are missing as well, as you can see. Here's one that's pretty intact still, and it's been here since 1809. This is Miss Ruth S. Young. She died November 14th, 1809, and she was 14 years old. The inscription is pretty characteristic of the time. There's variations of this all through that time period, the 18th and 19th century. So it says, "Blooming youth, as you pass by, remember you are born to die. My body here lies in the dust, in hopes to rise among the just." So a young lady just taken in her youth, and it's kind of a warning of other youth that might happen to pass by that you have to enjoy every second. It's sort of a stoic philosophy called memento mori. I wear a ring that sort of reminds me of the same thing, but that's what this is talking about. So as you sort of progress through the cemetery, probably there were stones interspersed all through this area at one point in time, but they're long gone. So quite a few remain, though. Probably about 40 are still here. I always visit this one whenever I come here. It actually looks like four headstones in a row, but there's actually two headstones and two footstones, which was very characteristic of the time. The front one that you see here, you can see sort of the death's head. That was also characteristic of the late 1700s, early 1800s. Another memento mori sign. But this is Mr. Freeman Cobb. He died February 6th of 1798 in the 28th year of his age. And it says, "Think on me as you pass by, as you are now, for once was I. Be wise in time, prepare to die." And you can see where the S's kind of look like F's, but in fact it's called a long S, and that was how they wrote that back then at that time period. So Mr. Cobb died pretty early in life. There's his footstone, and there's actually his son, Freeman Cobb Jr., who died just a few months after his dad did. He died July 4th of 1793. We had just gained our independence as a country from Britain in 1776, and these two gentlemen died in 1798. The younger Mr. Freeman Cobb died on July 4th, actually, of course, Independence Day, and he was 1 year and 28 days, just an infant. There's his footstone right behind that one. And they're right next to these great big trees. So very poetic, very makes you really think about life. This is also called Settlers Cemetery because these were in fact the first settlers of the town of Hampton. We walk over this way. There's a few beautiful old white stones. Captain Andrew Grant and his wife, actually wives, he had two by the looks of things. He passed away October 12, 1809, age 79. So this gentleman was born in 1730, give or take, which is amazing to me that I'm standing here looking at his stone. Some of these graves are well over 200 years. In memory of Anna Reed, who died January 30th, 1814, age 34. She was the wife of William Reed. And this is the most populated section of the cemetery that still has stones, at least. In memory of Oliver Currier, who died August 30 of 1807, age 36 years, 9 months, and 2 days. It's great when they're exact like that. You can really pinpoint when the person was born as well as when they passed away. There's his footstone right behind him. You did have some folks that died more toward the middle of the 1800s. Actually, this one is 1818, 1805. And they were very specific back then on tombstones. This says, in memory of Mr. James Dudley, who was killed by the falling of a tree, November 5th, 1805, age 44. A little graphic, but, you know, it's great. It captures a snapshot of history as it happened. So, just a good snapshot of the old burying ground in Hampden, Maine. Hope you enjoyed.